I will absolutely take this scene as an explanation for why they didn't do that.
Just why do there have to be so many rings? Why can't you just do one? Like, why can't you just use the little piece on top?
Hey YouTube, welcome back to our channel. My name is Elena.
And I'm Bjorn.
And we are Viking Age reenactors and living historians here to talk with you about your favorite Viking shows.
So a quick note before we go into the episode, we have filmed a reaction to the half-hour segment of gameplay from Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but that's still going through production. We were going to have it to you shortly, but crazy schedules got us delayed. But that is in the works and should be coming to you soon, so bear with us please, and then check out the video once it comes out because you like us. And on that note, we are going into episode 4 of season 3/0 of Norsemen.
I was just going to caress you.
He's bleeding from the nose and he's still just like...
I love you. Caress me anytime you want. That was so... I don't know why I wasn't expecting that.
It's a true mystery for me how those ravens knock separated eye.
We've come so far technologically that we no longer know how anything works.
It's the same thing with like email nowadays. Like no one knows how any of that works, but
exactly.
At the same time.
Oh, you didn't train a raven for that kind of stuff. Like we have like the homing pigeons and carrier pigeons and stuff that we used in like World War II and everything. I think could be way off, but like yeah, they didn't use that for messages. They paid people to do it.
But it is a kind of cool because it also alludes to like Odin's ravens.
Yeah,
especially since they sent 2 of them out.
Always good. I'm sad we didn't get to see Jarl actually getting a tattoo. Because we've seen tattoos
like
in the
the
past.
actual process.
Yeah. Because like we saw like Arvid getting tattoos and things like that. But I don't know. I would have loved to see like Varg going through that or like them having
like
some kind of spiel.
Face.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't have tattoos
That we know of.
that we know.
We've gone over that so many times. We don't know that Vikings had tattoos.
Yeah, we talked about it quite a lot.
Seems very unlikely that they did.
I don't have a horse, but I can sit behind you and massage you. Your muscles are probably very sore after all the sex making last night.
I do love that they're actually using like Norwegian fjord horses though.
Yeah, that's a really nice touch.
Yeah, this is like the goofiest thing ever. But like
They're
the
so
horses
small.
are gorgeous. Yeah. Yeah, well I mean like they're basically like just a bit above ponies essentially.
Yeah.
They are very small.
Back in the Viking Age, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they mainly used the horses for carrying like their stuff, not specifically riding on them.
Yeah, I mean a lot of the time you hear the horses kind of simultaneously with the use of like carriages and carts and things. But they definitely seem to be like kind of packed draft and work horses. They actually used horses on the farm to like pull plows and
Right, exactly.
and other like tools instead of like oxen or something that they would have had. But yeah, they definitely are more work horses than anything else. They would use them also for transportation and travel, you know, to pull carriages and carts and things.
But yeah, it is like really funny to just like see a warrior on top of one of those horses. They're gorgeous and
They're
love
beautiful.
seeing them so much. It's just really funny to me.
Yeah.
Is that a kneading pole? Does it work?
Through the power of magic, it can invoke misfortune and accidents at a distance of several kilometers. So, yeah.
Eliminate that and trim.
They'll do it anyway.
Another option could be to wait and see if need actually works.
The show's supposed to be funny. It's not supposed to make me want to cry.
I know, right?
How
We keep
dare
going
they.
back and forth.
I know, right?
It tugs your heartstrings.
It does.
So we actually had a request to talk about the kneading pole scene, so here
Yeah.
we are.
Finally made it. No, so a kneading pole, we actually get a pretty awesome description of it in Egil Saga, when Egil raises a kneading pole against King Bloodaxe and his wife, after being kind of wronged and kind of having a falling out with them. But a kneading pole specifically was pretty much what you saw. It was a large pole with like at least in the description that we had, it had a like a horse head mounted on top of it. And then like runes and like a curse kind of carved into it essentially. But basically, you would mount the pole and, you know, perform the rites, and you would turn the head to kind of face who you like wanted to be targeted at, and it was supposed to, you know, curse them and bring them horrible fate and ill luck, and for as long as it kind of stood. Because I feel like in at least in my head, I always kind of thought of it as like a pole that was mounted in the ground just to stand straight up with the head on top. But it's kind of interesting to see them like kind of create like this, like almost like a rig for it, you know, with like the supported cross section, and then it's just like splayed out in like a front, and it has the whole like pelt draped across it as well. Right. That was pretty cool to see. But it did seem to kind of be focused or target a specific person. So it's not like in this. Yeah. It's so sad, but it's so funny also. So it's not really like where they did in the show where, you know, just by walking in front of it, oh, you're screwed, you're getting Nithing on you. Oh no, you're walking right through the beam. It seems to be more of like a specified focus for an individual or something like that. So they could certainly erect one for Jarl Björn, and then he would be affected by the Nithing. Oh my god.
Enjoying yourself.
I love that he's treating this as like a honeymoon.
I forgot he was there. It's been like 3 minutes.
He's like a bride on his honeymoon. Just
Hey.
Hey.
Oh god. It's like space. He's so happy though. Look at him.
Right?
He's so content.
Look at that grin.
My god.
Follow me.
I will absolutely take this scene as an explanation for why they didn't do that.
Just why do there have to be so many rings? Why can't you just do one? Like, why can't you just do the little piece on top? Oh god. I just love when like his sleeve knocks him over. He's like, oh. It's like made to fail. Like, first off, it's like totally random. And they're just like, oh no, don't touch anything. If you even move it in the slightest bit,
everything falls
apart. And like it's gonna undo hours of careful research and spying, and then like they try to move one dude and just falls all over the place.
I think they no longer have a battle plan.
Yeah, right.
The wind seems to have dropped some. So the wind seems to vary a little from day to day.
Sure. The wind isn't the same every day. No.
He did say he wanted to talk about the weather.
Yeah.
It's the small talk.
That's what I'll do. We'll talk about the weather.
So really quickly, a lot of the times when we watch these TV shows, we rant on and on about the clothing. It's a very huge sticking point, and it honestly does drive us nuts. And sometimes we get comments like, you know, why do you care? It's a very specific thing that just takes you out of the immersion of watching this, and maybe that's just us as historians. But oftentimes the clothing just does not do the Viking Age any justice. Some shows don't even try. But if you guys do ever wonder what a TV show would look like with proper clothing, you can take a look at the background actors in Norsemen in here, specifically this scene. All of the background actors that I'm seeing, including the kid and the guys like in the Kirtles doing their thing, just in the back as they're having this like little conversation, are so much better dressed for the Viking Age, and that is what you would basically see if you were to walk into a Viking village in the 9th century.
Yeah, all the background shit that's happening is just like perfect. It's amazing.
Yeah.
They weren't even just like passing stuff back, like they were actively like tying the deer's legs to like push it up. So it's like they're actively doing something and they know what they're doing too, which just adds so much realism to it. And they also look the part, you know, because they're reenactors or they're outfitted most likely by the museum because this is shot at Bora.
This is true. Yeah.
So they look the part fantastically, you know, and it's like clearly like they can do it, they just don't do it. And I think Norseman intentionally doesn't do it for the main characters because it's a comedy, because it's a
Yeah.
parody on itself.
And they need them to stand out.
Exactly, yeah, that's very true.
A little raven with a message?
First of all, it's a chicken with a message.
I love it. How did
They ran out of ravens.
I was gonna ask, how did that even happen? But they don't know. The technology just it's
Yeah.
not there.
I'm assuming
it's
once
so stupid. I love it.
I'm assuming once they're out of chickens, they're gonna start sending up smoke signals.
It may be. You'll never know. Yeah. What else could they do? They could do like a ceramic mug with a piece of yarn stretched on a string. You know, just tuck into that. They could tie a message with an arrow. They could try to use like some other kind of homing animal, like a mouse or like a cat or something maybe.
Maybe.
They could use a person. Historically speaking, they could just send a person. They could send a messenger. Seems too
much a waste.
too easy.
You really deserve that after the class journey you have made.
This relationship is really going somewhere now.
That's how it is, you know, when two people love each other more than the life itself.
Classic.
Classic. I would have liked to see some kind of little Viking ring in there.
Yeah, I mean, we have like a few finds, like a few variations on different rings. Like more than half of them are just wire woven rings without any real like gemstones or any stones inset into it. We do have a couple where we either think, you know, a glass stone used to be or still exists. But yeah, like the setting would be a lot larger. Probably, I don't know if it's because they didn't necessarily have like the know-how or the technology to insert it into these like little teeny settings that we do nowadays, but I mean they did do a lot of intricate work.
Yeah, they
regardless.
absolutely did. In the earlier periods before the Viking Age, we see a lot of like these thick, clunky chunks of like jewelry. You know, like the arm rings and torques and all kinds of stuff, and they're like very thick, bulky objects. You know, just like massively heavy. But in the Viking Age, their craftsmanship becomes a lot more refined. So even though like you know, in an older period where like a solid torque would be more expensive just in terms of material, as opposed to like a later Viking Age necklace or something that would be wire woven, it would use a lot less material, but it took a lot more work and a lot more time put into it to make something so like delicate and like lavish essentially and intricate. And so based on just that, based on like the amount of time that went into the craft, it became more valuable that way, even though it's using a lot less material.
A husband giving a wife, you know, jewelry and, you know, expensive clothing and stuff to wear. That was a show that she was a wealthier woman. And in the Viking Age, one of the big things was that you wore your wealth. Even to the point of how long your dress was, because that showed off how much material you could afford to
And the
even
color of it
begin
as
with.
well.
And the color of it, like any embellishments on it. Jewelry was really expensive. Wearing the glass beads that a lot of women wear with the brooches, that's basically like wearing a freaking Ferrari around your neck. Like those things were like almost priceless. It was insane.
Yeah, and we still do the same thing nowadays. You know, we get the custom imprinted Rolex watch and, you know, the diamond necklaces, pearl earrings, and all that kind of stuff. We still do that. You know, Armani suits, it's the exact same thing, just a modernized version.
Prepare your marching boots. We leave at dusk.
Marching boots? That's what he said? Okay.
Which, by the way, turn shoes are slippery as hell. Yeah, so one of the things that people don't realize about reenacting clothing, or don't really think about, is the shoes. And in the Viking Age, they wore what is called turn shoes, which is basically a piece of leather that you wrap around your foot, and there's another piece of leather that goes under it, and it all kind of is held together by magic of some kind.
We don't know. We lose
technology.
We just don't appreciate it anymore enough.
But one of the things that people don't realize when they first get into reenacting is just how slippery it is to be wearing leather at the bottom of your feet. That has not been treated in any way with any tread or scratches. You basically have to go outside and like shuffle your feet for a good like 10 minutes. before you can even walk in them properly.
Yep, absolutely. Like, I mean, I know that people will, like, they'll, like, sand the bottom very loosely when they first get them, or, like, they'll put, like, tar or something on it so that there's something.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's bad, and, like, there's not much separating you between the elements besides, like, a very thin piece of leather. They're comfortable shoes.
They
Don't get me
are,
wrong.
yeah.
And they, like, form to fit your foot. But, yeah, they're very exposed.
War is booming, and I would like to use your dragon to scotch your Highburn son.
We filmed the trailer for this and didn't get a chance to release it, unfortunately. Because schedules got crazy. But we did see the dragon in the trailer, and we're wondering what that was going to be all about.
Unbelievable.
And I guess now there's going to be a dragon in this show. It's just so, like, high fantasy. They're just like, okay, now we got a dragon.
Yep, exactly. She's the worst.
Bye-bye. Oh my god.
Ew. Yikes! Oh, it's the Varg that we know.
Just the one yake.
Just the one yike.
Alright, we're getting set up for some sort of a battle here.
A big old... I can't believe there's only 2 more episodes. Like, I feel like there's so much that can be
Yeah.
done. I'm gonna be upset when it's just, like, suddenly over. I still have, like, 30 seconds in just, like... Tap on shoulder, wham! Just, like, right in the face. Jesus. God, the show's throwing me for a loop, because first it was Kark, the slave, and then it was Orm, and now it's Thorstein. It's just gonna be like one after another after another after another after another. Just like, guys, just stop. Like, ugh.
You just end up feeling bad for all of them.
I know, it's bad. I want to be everybody's friend. It's the worst.
Incidentally, gotten it, Bora.
Hey, what do you know? That's great.
If you guys want it.
Yeah!
They both need friends! And they both get friends. Friends with benefits!
How did that even just happen? I need to watch that again. Oh my god.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified of our future videos. And we will see you in the next one.